Over 60? Eat this high-protein food that beats eggs for muscle strength. Have you ever looked in the mirror and noticed that your arms aren't quite as firm as they used to be? Or maybe you've caught yourself struggling just a little more to carry the groceries or get up from a chair without using your hands? It's a quiet kind of change that sneaks up on us. One day, you're lifting things easily, and the next, it feels like everything's just a little heavier than it used to be. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. A lot of folks over 60 notice this happening. And it's not about being out of shape or not trying hard enough. It's just one of the natural parts of aging, muscle loss. There's even a name for it: sarcopenia. It sounds like a fancy word, but all it really means is the gradual loss of muscle that happens as we get older. And the truth is, losing muscle doesn't just make everyday tasks harder. It can also affect your balance, your posture, even how well your body burns energy. Now here's the good news. You can absolutely do something about it. You can hold on to your strength and your energy, even well into your 70s or 80s. And one of the biggest, simplest steps starts with what you eat. That's what we're going to talk about today. Specifically, a high-protein food that beats eggs when it comes to supporting muscle strength for folks over 60. Now, don't get me wrong, eggs are great. They're packed with nutrients, easy to cook, and easy to digest. But there's another food out there that offers even more protein per serving and brings along a whole range of other benefits as well. And the best part is, it's probably already in your kitchen, or easy to find at your local store. Before I tell you what it is, though, let's take a moment to talk about why protein is so important as we age. When we were younger, our bodies built and repaired muscle more easily. You could miss a few meals or skip a workout, and things would bounce right back. But after 60, the body needs a little more help. Protein becomes even more essential, not just for building new muscle, but for keeping the muscle you already have. Think about it like maintaining a house. When it's brand new, a little wear and tear doesn't show as much. But as the years go by, you need to check the roof, repaint the walls, keep the foundation strong. Your muscles are like that house. They need regular care and the right materials to stay solid and reliable. And protein is one of those key building blocks. A lot of people believe that as long as they eat 3 meals a day, they're getting enough. But many seniors don't actually get the recommended amount of protein, especially if they've cut back on meat or dairy because of changes in taste, digestion, or personal choice. That's where this particular food comes in. It's high in protein, easy to prepare, gentle on the stomach, and fits into all sorts of meals. The food I'm talking about is Greek yogurt. Now you might be thinking, really? Yogurt? But this isn't just any yogurt. Greek yogurt is thicker, richer, and much higher in protein compared to regular yogurt or even eggs. A single serving, about 3/4 of a cup, can contain as much as 17 to 20 grams of protein. Compare that to a single large egg, which has around 6 grams of protein, and you can see why this makes such a difference. What makes Greek yogurt really stand out is how versatile it is. You can have it for breakfast with some fresh fruit and a sprinkle of nuts. You can add it to smoothies, use it as a base for dips, or even stir it into soups for extra creaminess and nutrition. Plus, it's easier to digest than some heavier protein sources, especially if you choose one with live and active cultures that support digestion. One gentleman I know, he's 72, shared with me that he started having a bowl of Greek yogurt every morning after his walk. Just a little with some berries and oats. Over time, he noticed he had more energy, and his legs didn't feel as wobbly when he stood up from his chair. It wasn't a huge change all at once, but those steady improvements really add up. Now, not all Greek yogurts are created equal. Some have added sugars or flavorings that don't do much for your health. So when you're shopping, look for plain, unsweetened varieties. You can always add your own fruit or honey if you like things a little sweeter. That way, you control what's going into your body. Another thing to keep in mind is portion size. You don't need to overdo it. 1 serving a day is a great start, especially if you're balancing it with other healthy foods like vegetables, whole grains, and lean meats or fish. The goal isn't to change everything overnight. It's about adding in one small, powerful habit that supports your strength and well-being in the long run. So, now that we've covered why protein matters and introduced this easy, high-protein option, let's keep this conversation going and explore a few more foods and simple habits that can help you hold onto your muscle and stay active, no matter your age. We were just talking about Greek yogurt and how it can quietly but powerfully support your muscle health after 60. Now let's take that idea a step further and look at a few more foods and habits that can work hand in hand with it. Because while one food can make a difference, combining smart choices together really brings out the best results. One of the first things to remember is that variety matters. As much as I enjoy a steady routine, I've learned over the years that the body appreciates a little diversity in what we feed it. That's especially true when it comes to protein. Greek yogurt is a great start, but pairing it with other quality protein sources throughout the day helps keep your muscles well-fed and functioning at their best. One excellent companion to Greek yogurt is lentils. Now, lentils might not have been part of your regular meals growing up. Maybe it was more about meat and potatoes. But these little legumes are surprisingly powerful. They're rich in plant-based protein, high in fiber, and gentle on the digestive system. What's really appealing is how easy they are to cook. You don't need hours in the kitchen or fancy recipes. A simple pot of lentil soup or a lentil salad with some olive oil and lemon can fit right into a lunch or dinner without feeling heavy. I remember chatting with a man in his late 60s who said he'd always avoided beans and lentils, thinking they were just for vegetarians. But once he gave them a try, he found he actually liked the taste. And even more, he noticed he felt fuller, longer. That feeling of being satisfied without feeling weighed down is important as we get older, because our metabolism slows a bit, and we want to avoid those big blood sugar spikes that can sap our energy. Now, while we're talking about foods that help muscle strength, it's worth mentioning cottage cheese. This might sound old-fashioned, but there's a reason it's been a staple in many diets for generations. Cottage cheese is another high-protein food that's easy to digest and low in fat, especially if you choose the right kind. It's perfect for an evening snack. In fact, some folks find that having a small serving of cottage cheese before bed helps keep them feeling steady overnight because it provides slow-digesting protein that feeds your muscles while you sleep. One fellow I know, around 70, shared with me how he'd started having a little bowl of cottage cheese in the evening instead of ice cream. And not only did he feel better in the morning, but his sleep improved as well. That little change made his nights feel more restful, and his mornings a lot easier. Speaking of sleep and muscle health, these two things are more connected than most people realize. When you sleep, your body does a lot of its repair work, including rebuilding muscle tissue. That's why making sure you're getting enough protein throughout the day, not just in the morning or at dinner, matters so much. It keeps a steady supply of nutrients flowing to your body, helping maintain strength without overwhelming your system all at once. Now, let's touch on something that's just as important as what you eat: how you move. Maintaining muscle strength isn't only about food, it's also about keeping those muscles active. I know that as we get older, it can feel harder to get up and get moving, especially if your joints ache or you feel stiff first thing in the morning. But here's the truth: even light activity makes a big difference. Simple bodyweight exercises like standing up from a chair repeatedly, or light resistance work with bands or small dumbbells can help maintain and even build muscle mass. One gentleman told me he started with just a few minutes of chair squats each morning. At first it felt like hard work, but after a few weeks he noticed it wasn't as difficult anymore. His legs felt stronger, and he didn't have to push off with his hands as much to stand up. That's real progress, and it doesn't take hours at the gym. And here's a little reminder that might help if the idea of exercise feels daunting. You don't have to do it all at once. Small moments add up. A few minutes here, a few minutes there. Whether it's standing up during commercials, walking down the hall a few extra times, or stretching while waiting for your tea to brew, these little efforts keep your muscles engaged and remind your body to stay strong. Now, another simple habit to support muscle strength is staying hydrated. It might sound too easy, but a lot of folks don't drink enough water as they get older. Dehydration can make your muscles feel weak and sluggish. It can also affect balance and focus. Aiming to drink water steadily throughout the day, not just when you feel thirsty, helps keep your whole system working smoothly. Sometimes I meet folks who don't like plain water. If that sounds like you, adding a slice of lemon, a sprig of mint, or even drinking herbal tea can be great options. The important thing is finding what makes it easy for you to keep sipping throughout the day. Now that we've walked through these practical steps, adding high-protein foods like Greek yogurt, lentils, and cottage cheese, staying active, and remembering the importance of hydration, Let's keep moving forward and talk about how these simple daily choices fit together into a routine that supports not just your muscles, but your overall sense of energy and well-being as the years roll on. Now that we've spent some time talking about the kinds of foods and habits that can help keep your muscles strong, I want to bring everything together into a rhythm that feels doable, something that can slide right into the life you already have, without feeling like a chore or an overhaul. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that real change happens through steady steps, not sudden leaps. It starts with a morning routine that gives your body what it needs to wake up strong. For many folks over 60, breakfast can either be the most important meal of the day or something that gets skipped. And skipping it might not seem like a big deal, but over time, missing out on that early protein boost can leave you feeling slower and weaker by mid-morning. That's why having something simple like a serving of Greek yogurt with some fruit or a spoonful of nuts can set the tone for the rest of your day. It's not about eating a big heavy plate of food, just enough to get your muscles the building blocks they need after a night of fasting. As the day goes on, the key is to keep that protein coming in little bits here and there. Maybe you have a bowl of lentil soup for lunch or a small sandwich with lean chicken or tuna. The idea is to aim for a steady stream rather than saving everything for dinner. I've met plenty of folks who used to eat most of their food in the evening and felt sluggish all day. But once they started spreading their meals out more evenly, they noticed clearer energy, steadier balance, and fewer afternoon crashes. And speaking of balance, keeping your body steady and sure on its feet is just as important as keeping your muscles firm. One of the biggest concerns for many people as they age is falling. And often, it's not weak bones that lead to a fall, it's weak muscles. When your legs aren't as strong, when your core feels soft, it's easier to stumble. That's why pairing high-protein foods with gentle strength exercises and stretches is so valuable. It's like putting the right fuel in the tank and keeping the engine tuned at the same time. One gentleman I knew in his late 60s shared how he made a habit of standing up from his chair 10 times in a row while waiting for the kettle to boil. It sounds small, but those kinds of movements keep your legs engaged and your balance sharp. Combine that with regular protein intake, and you're giving your body everything it needs to stay steady and secure. Now, as we get into the later part of the day, dinner becomes a great opportunity to round things out. A little grilled fish, some cottage cheese with vegetables, or even a protein-rich soup can close the day on a strong note. And remember, having a small protein snack in the evening, like that bowl of cottage cheese or a handful of nuts, can help keep your muscles nourished while you sleep. That slow-digesting protein works quietly through the night, helping with recovery and strength maintenance. Throughout all of this, one thing that I always encourage folks to keep in mind is the idea of listening to your body. Some days you'll feel more hungry, other days less so. Some days you'll have the energy to move around a lot. Other days might feel a little slower. That's all perfectly natural. The important thing is not giving up on yourself just because things aren't as easy as they once were. You've lived through enough to know that progress doesn't always move in a straight line. One man told me he started making these small changes at 70 years old. He wasn't trying to get back the body he had at 40. He just wanted to stay independent, keep gardening, play with his grandkids without feeling winded. And with steady effort, he did exactly that. More energy, fewer aches, and a greater sense of control over his own life. That's what this is really about. Living on your own terms, feeling steady in your own skin. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a simple thought. It's never too late to start. Whether you're 60, 70, or well beyond, small changes today can make tomorrow feel a little bit brighter, a little bit stronger. Adding one serving of Greek yogurt, trying a lentil soup recipe, walking a few more steps each day, it all adds up. Muscle strength isn't just for athletes or younger folks. It's for all of us who want to keep moving, living, and enjoying life with the energy and freedom we deserve. If this conversation has helped you think about your own routines or sparked some new ideas, I'd love to hear about it. Feel free to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. What's been working for you, or what's something new you'd like to try after watching this? And if you found this video helpful, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We share more simple, practical health tips just like this. Real talk for real life after 60. Here's to staying strong, staying steady, and living fully, one small, healthy choice at a time. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.